The following episode contains conversations about sexual assault, depression, and suicide, which some people might find upsetting. Discretion is advised. If you or someone you know needs help finding support and crisis resources, please see the episode description box for more information. Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of A Letter to My Younger Self. Today's guest is my longtime friend, Ayan Karanja. You're spitting the effect. Right in there. And quick fun fact about Ayan, she's actually the one who films and edits the podcast. I know you guys have seen the quality of this season. It's impeccable. So go ahead, give the girl her flowers.
Thank you. I'll even put effects for myself. Like, congratulations to me.
How does it feel being on this other side?
This is awkward.
But right now, because you do a bit of content, yeah?
Here and there, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
It's not the same when there's no audience. Because I'm guessing when you're recording, you're by yourself. So there's
there's no one watching. And then I don't have pressure because, like, I have like 3K followers. So it's like, most of the people watching are like my friends or people who I know. So I'm just like, whatever, man.
Well, they're about to increase to a couple more thousands who are going to see this. How long have we known each other?
We met in high school from
20
what? I think 2016.
Was it? No, it wasn't 2016.
What do you mean? It was, you joined Makini in Form 3?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's not 2016.
Yeah,
We're so old. Sorry, 2012.
2012. Yeah, 2012. And what was my first impression of you? You know. You say it. Tell the people.
No, listen.
Tell the people.
I did not intend.
Tell the people.
I didn't.
You were very mean to me.
I was not mean. I just wasn't nice. There's a difference. There's a difference. No, listen. You found me reading.
Go on. Defend yourself. Actually, let's tell the people.
No, I want to hear your version because I know it's skewed. But go ahead. Tell them.
So what happens is we're in a new school. I'm a newcomer. Obviously, I know no one. And the teacher says, find a partner or something to share a textbook with. And who was seated behind me? You! And what do? I take my chair, take it next to Caroline so that we can share the book. And this woman looks at me like, you couldn't pick anyone else?
Wait, but
sit beside?
I remember I remember the look I gave you. What I don't remember is what happened next. Did you just sit or did you give up and go?
I was not going to get bullied. I sat and we shared the book and we became friends by force. And that's just the kind of person I am. Anyway, so now let's find out how well we actually know each other after all these years of friendship.
This is gonna go terribly.
So we're going to play a quick game. Basically, Mambari is just going to ask us questions. She's the one who prepared them, so I don't know them either. And then we're just going to write the correct answers on the paper and show the screen. So are you ready?
I don't think I can get any more ready. So let's just do it.
Right, let's do it.
What is my birthday? So you write down each other's birthdays.
Do you have to write plus the year?
I think we know the year.
Let me at least get one part right.
I know the month. In fact, I know the week. And the day.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
Sure.
What? What do you mean?
I know it's June.
It's literally next week.
I said, wait, next week is not the week of the 16th?
No, 16th should be like this week still. It's next week on Tuesday, on the 20th.
So it's the 20th.
Wait, when is yours?
The 4th
Of February.
Yeah.
At least I got the month right.
Well, you know, we were actually almost the same at the days
Yeah.
off because we're both okay. Yours was 3, mine was 4, but
So I won next.
no, what do you mean? You still got it wrong.
What's my favorite movie?
I don't even know my favorite movie. Can I just be honest? Me, I don't know. I don't even know my own.
You have to guess something. I need to see what genre you guess.
Like they were looking at each other.
I'm like, am I low-key writing mine?
Okay.
Okay, we show. 1, 2, 3.
Well, I knew it was not, I knew it was not drama, I knew it was not romance, I knew it was not comedy. For some reason, I could not see you sit down to watch a romance movie. It was just beyond me.
That's all I watch.
You only watch romance movies?
It's like the only thing I watch is like always drama, romance.
Are you serious?
Stuff.
So, unakuanga mgumu huku nje? But inside, you're just soft.
Did I half get mine?
No.
What do you like?
I like comedies.
Comedy?
I like comedies. Okay, comedies, especially romantic comedies.
So like rom-coms?
Rom-coms.
Okay.
Because I don't, it's that or a documentary.
I was about to write documentaries. Documentaries. Oh, God.
Hey, crime. I'm paranoid. I won't be able to do anything. I'll be like, if I leave this, I saw in this movie that.
I wish I wrote documentaries. Dang it.
All right, the next one.
Wait, what was yours? You said romance, drama?
Yeah. And horror. Like,
I thought about horror for a bit.
Horror is definitely at the top as well.
What's my biggest pet peeve?
You're not allowed to say mine is wrong.
Pet peeve. What's your greatest? Okay. I know what makes you uncomfortable. I just don't know if that's also your pet peeve.
Why do I feel like we're going to write the same thing?
Okay. Guy, I knew I was not going to do well in this. I just didn't know.
How terribly we do.
Imagine I'm just going to go with the first one. I know this makes you uncomfortable. I just don't think it's your pet peeve, but it could be.
Yeah.
It could
so
be.
We go. We
Okay,
show.
okay.
1, 2, 3, go.
You're like, this guy doesn't like anyone.
Am I wrong?
Okay, to be very specific, I don't like incessant small talk.
Yeah.
Like especially, okay, I get it's necessary, especially when you go for like events, but
Small talk just
like, there's
don't
too
do
much of it. Like there's that one for the beginning part when, you know, we've just come together and it's awkward just standing there. So those ones for hi, how are you?
hi,
Your
yeah.
name. But then you keep going, oh, the weather is good, oh, this tablecloth is nice. It's too much.
Unnecessary.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
like you say, people crying does make me uncomfortable, but I don't think it's a pet peeve.
I don't. So what's your pet peeve? Because I really tried. I've never.
Yeah.
It's just people also, but I didn't want. I didn't want to write that.
For me, I littering for sure. Like when I see someone
Ooh, yeah,
littering,
that
I'm
also
usually
gets
like low IQ. It must be low IQ.
Yeah, it's just like.
Yeah.
Are you raised in a forest? So it's now 0-0. Excellent.
As long as no one is winning, it's okay.
We're both terrible friends. Excellent.
Okay, what's my favorite food?
She'll get mine.
Well, just write what I know you get, even if you should get mine. You should get mine.
Should I? You've ordered something different each time we've gone out. Like you've literally never ordered the same thing twice. Are you changing mine after I say
in
that?
fact, I'm adding. No, it's like, but it's around, okay.
Like literally each time we've gone out, you've never repeated like something you're going to eat.
But what do I say, especially like after shoots? What do I always say? Like if I'm tired, what's the first thing I think about eating?
Do you know this?
Never listen.
Never listening. Because I think one by River knows.
I have 2 guesses.
Okay. I was so confident, but now, because you also like, but you have like 3.
Only have 1 carrot. Let's see.
It's literally only one.
Like constantly. Maybe has her palate evolved since I knew her? Okay, I mean, I'm just going to guess it.
Okay.
Right.
1, 2, 3. Sure. It's chicken.
Yeah. I was too specific. The
Yeah.
KFC, so I just wrote chicken.
Is yours pizza?
You were right, it's chicken. I said that in written. In
For
particular,
avoidance of doubt.
pizza went in
I
the
had
way.
written chicken. I had written chicken. Everyone chicken.
But why would you think it's pizza? I have never.
But I was like, chicken sounds like mine. Okay.
Yay, I have a point. Dun, dun, dun. You can get 0.5 by being almost right.
Minus 0.5 for doubting myself.
Okay, do I prefer to stay in or go out?
If I am wrong.
1, 2, 3, show.
Yeah!
We both don't like going
Which is strange because when I go out, I'm all over the place. So people assume
Yeah.
that I like going out. But I'm like, it's because I'm going to be out this month. And this is it.
Am I an early bird or a night owl?
All right. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
that right?
Yeah, but anyway.
We're doing so much better.
You should have started with these ones. Those things about movies.
What am I most afraid of?
These questions are deep, Wambairi. We never go out and we're like, tell me your truest.
Your greatest fear. I want you to know. I have, because I wanted it to be thing, I have guessed. And I think I am wrong. I think I am wrong. But
I'm afraid of like literally everything. So 1, 2, 3.
We get a point by being simultaneous, giving the same.
Are you afraid of snakes?
Like, isn't
I'm not afraid of snakes.
Okay, I'm not really afraid of a snake. Like, I've had a snake on my shoulder.
Yeah.
So I can't say it's snakes.
Even like literally could have written anything else. A cricket.
I know you don't like bugs, but I was like, no, which bug?
Any of them. You could ask
Any bugs. Okay, I don't fear snakes.
Yeah.
I don't
0
have
points.
I don't have a physical fear.
Hey,
Does
must
that
be
make
nice.
sense?
For
like
me?
like you know the normal ones like heights, spiders.
Yeah.
Like if I see a small spider, I recognize it's a small spider. If I see a big spider, of course I recognize this one might poison me. Like it's not a specific just fear.
I don't play those things.
I should have. Why didn't I write bugs? And I thought about it because the amount of times I've had you squeal, there's a bug around.
Especially when a cockroach is past a certain size, please get me out. Get me out.
But like, how would you like categorize fear? Is it like
No,
that?
it is like terror. And like I'm
I don't-
terrified.
of things in particular. I don't have a specific
Yeah.
one. Like I don't see something and become terrified. Like I'll see a big bug and be like, ew.
No. I went to the wild ones and a cricket entered when I was in the I nearly died trying to get out of the shower because I'm freaking out. It's freaking out. It's jumping and it's jumping towards me. And I'm just butt naked, falling on the ground, trying to run away from this thing that's probably more afraid of me. No.
Okay, we're not doing well at all. Okay.
So, what's the score? Ayan has 3 and you have 2.5.
No, we said it's minus 0.5 for doubting yourself.
You have to give me negative points, Caroline. What? Anyways, I guess that means I owe you dinner. I know
Yes.
you will not be late to collect.
Not
You
at
will not
all.
be- we're not collecting during my birthday month. We're collecting in July.
Okay, I'll be kind enough to spare you June.
Perfect. All right, I guess now we can get into the letter. So how do you think we did?
Okay, some of those questions.
No, those questions are difficult.
Yeah, because favorite movie, like unless you're fanatic about a favorite movie, it could be hard.
yeah.
Me, I said I don't even know my favorite movie. Like,
So how could I have even guessed if you don't have a favorite movie?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was the questions are actually quite difficult. I knew we'd do terrible. Or we did like way worse and I thought we would, but anyways, no, at least I know like a couple of more things about you, because I have to admit that the minute I read your letter, I don't even know how to describe it. I feel like I almost felt some sense of guilt, because I was like, how do you know someone for so long and be so
Yeah.
close to them and not
Yeah.
know so much about them?
I think I don't think it's just you. I think even if a lot of people I'd call my close friends would want to write such like a letter, I'd be like, damn, because I think as humans there are certain things you're just like, I think this one let me just deal with by myself.
Yeah.
And it's something that I'm trying to get out of, because especially in my early years, no one knew.
Yeah.
No one knew what the hell was going on in my life. I was in and out. I was just disappearing in and out of people's lives because I felt like I didn't want to burden people. So now that I'm growing up, I'm like, okay, it's okay. There are certain things you can just, like, you can open up about.
Yeah.
Especially if somebody is in like the right space to take it. It's okay, especially because you're not a burden. You're not a burden to people. You're someone's,
Yeah.
friend. So if they're truly your friend and you feel as if you have this thing to talk about, somebody who's truly your friend and is able to deal with it at the moment will do it. So it's talking yourself like you're not a burden kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay, so to give everyone context, I guess we can go ahead and read the letter.
A letter to my younger self. Dear 16-year-old Caroline, my sweet summer child, life is about to give you one hell of a character arc. Mom and Dad have just separated, and your relationship with Dad will go from contentious to non-existent. It will break your heart to see him dismiss you, but I want you to know it's not your fault. What happens between grown adults is not a reflection of your lovability. Also, literally a week after your birthday, you will be violated in a way no human being should. This will have far-reaching effects that will not be obvious to you at the time, as your brain will not be able to properly process what is happening. That, and the whole dad situation, will affect your relationship with men. It'll be messy, confusing, and slightly entertaining at times. But don't worry, girl. We caught ourselves before things went from bad to worse, and now healing. I know you and I had great goals and ambitions, but let me tell you, Mina, qua ground, hey, ni different. Good news is your hard work in high school paid off. You got accepted into engineering school, then later transferred to your dream course, medicine. You loved medicine with all your heart, but it did not love you back. It's really not medicine's fault. Remember those far-reaching effects? Yeah, your brain finally had enough and broke in spectacular fashion. You developed crippling anxiety that made you housebound and entered a deep depression. You didn't want to be here. You even tried to leave that one time. No matter how No matter how you tried, you couldn't keep up with the multiple hospital visits while being in medical school and made the hard decision to call it quits. But fear not, because you and I refused to stay down. After hopping from odd job to odd job, you landed in the most unlikely industry, photography and videography. I know, the way we used to run from the camera like it had cooties. Yeah. Having fun on Instagram, sharing your life in a way as a form of escapism caught people's attention and had them asking if you'd create for them as well. It's allowed you to travel, meet interesting people, and make a modest living, much to your family's confusion. Sure still calls you a cameraman, but at least she's warmed up to the idea. You will question your decision every day, and the business pitfalls will have you crying yourself to sleep, but we wouldn't have it any other way. We know we'll make it. P.S. We did it. We lost the weight. Not all of it, but we are getting there. While it did help with your confidence and self-esteem, it also revealed that, damn, we still have a long way to go in terms of healing. If I was to impart some knowledge to you, it would be 1. Stop being so hard-headed. My dear, you know close to nothing. Be willing to listen to others and learn that you too can mess up. Number 2, be fluid like water. You have very high opinions about who you are and who you aren't. You're not a grumpy introvert who hates everyone, just a few. You're not only analytical in thinking, you are also creative. 3, I know dad is not around, but don't forget you have a kick-ass mom who through all of this never left your side. She recognized when you needed help and got it, supported you when you dropped out, and even helped you start your business. Don't forget the numerous times she offered to help you at a shoot day whenever you bitched about how your back hurt. She is an angel among men, and be grateful for her every day. Number 4, pee after sex. So, here we are, young one, 27, and still uncertain about the future, but learning that happiness is the journey, not the destination. Healing is continuous and ever evolving, and it's okay not to be okay. From the love of your life, Ayan.
I have to say that I feel like this is one of the most touching letters we've ever received, and I feel like knowing you, for me, made it even more emotional. Because like through reading it, I was like, like
right now, I was trying really hard to keep the balancing tears at bay.
I feel like it was quite something, and I feel like I had to read it even more than once. So I just have to ask, how did it feel like writing the letter, and what inspired you to write your letter so openly and authentically?
I'd written one before this one, and I read it through, and it felt like a sanitized version of my life, like the version I show everyone, like the version everyone knew. Like this is, if you've known Ayan, this is Ayan, right?
Yeah.
But it's those ones for, I wanted to really remove myself from that mindset of, I'm going to be here and read it and just talk to your young self.
Yeah.
Because I chose 16 because that was the year I think my whole like life went like this. It was a really pivotal year for me, and I was like, I just want this person to know that it's going to be bad, but it gets better, and it's okay to accept the ups and the downs. Because I didn't want it to just, I wanted her to know you're okay, you're going to be okay, but also accept that this sucks, which is something I don't do in my life often. That accept that those feelings of, hey, this is not fun.
Yeah. Tell us a bit about your parents and how life was like at home before the separation.
So I grew up in a middle-class family. Dad was a banker. My mom was a lawyer.
Oh, my dad's a banker too.
And then, so growing up, it wasn't tumultuous, but it wasn't comfortable. Like, I could tell at some point, especially when I got, more conscious about what was going on around me, that these two people didn't like each other. Like, there was there was something, like you can just tell that there is tension, but it wasn't outward tension. My parents didn't fight in public, even in front of us. There was no shouting, screaming matches, none of that. It was just outside, everything is, oh, this is my family, like especially my dad, oh, and they'll be talking. And then inside, they don't talk.
Yeah.
Like inside the house, they are talking to each other through us. You could tell they were there because, you know, we have kids now, we have a home now. So when I was 16 is when now they separated. My mom had enough, and she said, you know, we're not living together as a couple anymore. There's no point in all of this games anymore. There was no physical abuse, but there was some emotional abuse of, you know, like it's hard to be, you know, like imagine sharing a room with somebody and they don't talk to you.
Yeah.
And all they do is complain about how things are not going well without offering solutions. So I think she just had enough of that. So yeah, so they separated. Yeah, at the time, I didn't see it as such a bad thing. Because being the eldest, I could tell that they were not okay.
Yeah.
So for me, it was fine because I wanted my mom to be happy as well. What made it difficult is initially the idea was, okay, we've separated, but these are still your kids. So we need to have, you know, that relationship. In the beginning, my dad kept the relationship with my younger sister, but he didn't do that with me. So it felt like a slight because he would come pick her up, they would go out, they would like, you know, like have their, you know, their moments, their father-daughter times, but not with me. So that's now when I was like, okay, does that mean that there's something wrong with me? Because it would have been different if he just left.
Yeah, and
like,
left both of you.
Like it was like if he just went and you're like, okay, I guess he's done now. Yeah, so I felt that as a, like he's really left like me. It felt personal. It removed it from their relationship. And later on, I realized one of the reasons why he put me in such a place is at the time of the separation, it was during Christmas time. So we used to go to, you know, the normal Unaenda Shags Christmas.
Yeah.
So we used to go now to like my dad's side of the family, and that year we had fought with him. So I said, I'm not going. I remember I even like locked my room. I'm like, you're gonna have to physically remove me from here, because even before they separated, there was a bit of back and forth between me and my dad.
Yeah.
So he went with my sisters. I stayed with my mom. That was when my mom kicked him out during that time. So I think I didn't know it was going on until it happened, because my mom was being very, like, she was hiding it because I guess she didn't want me to be fully involved in it. So I didn't know it was going on. But in his head, I think because I was there, he's like, oh, so it's like, you and your mom.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, okay.
You guys are plotting.
Yeah, you go now. So I think that carried on. Eventually, my sister noticed. And one day she told him, you're going to pick the both of us or I'm not coming. And then after that...
But like, what would he say? Was it... would he just call her and be like, I'm coming to get you? Then when he reaches there, what does he tell you? Like, why is he not picking you? Or he
wouldn't talk because he's not entering the house.
Oh,
so at that time, you know, we all had phones, right?
Yeah.
So he'll just tell my sister, I'm coming. She'll just come down, and then they go, and then they come back. Obviously, she'll come back with like, oh, we went shopping, and she got like toys and books and things like that, and we went out. So it's like, okay, and he knew where else would that teenager be on a Saturday?
Yeah, that was really unfair. And it's actually even like what you said, where they weren't really fighting, but you could tell, because a lot of the times you find couples saying that they're going to stay together for the kids, but then now the kids themselves can see, they can tell that there is something wrong. So even if you're staying to protect them, in the long run, you're sort of still building the trauma that is coming out of staying. And you also mentioned your mom, Mama Caro, came up in the letter, and she sounds like such a sweetheart. And I know her as a G and a sweetheart as well, and I can see her portrait up there. So it's like she's watching us like, what are you going to say about me? Because she's also no nonsense. She will not take crap from no one, but she's also really come out as a sweetheart in the letter, even offering to, come with you for shoots because your back is hurting and stuff. And I can't imagine for her seeing you going through, your dad picking your sister and leaving you. It must have also really, really hurt her as well, because I know during that period she must have also been going through a lot. But then now, in addition of now your dad not treating you properly, it must have also been breaking her as well. And what did she do, or what did she tell you during these periods to sort of just tell you it's okay?
She was, during that time, she was the one who initiated the divorce. So I think that because of that, she felt like a sort of guilt, because this man would be in this house if it wasn't for me saying I can't do this anymore. So she found it difficult to navigate that situation, because she wouldn't know how to say it's not you, but at the same time kind of feel like it's her. So she just used to tell me, it has nothing to do with you. Just know, for her it was just know you have me. Like, even if he continues like this, or it doesn't, your relationship with him never changes, you have me. That's it. Because you can't, because at that time there was no contact between the two of them, so there was no even like calling each other or anything. There was no avenue of communication, so there was no way for her to be like, hey, like, your daughter is also here, could you please? So for her, she was just like, I hope he changes, but if he doesn't, I'm also here. And
I mean, true to her words, I feel like she's always been there for you, like even now, telling you your back is hurting, let a tripod nitakubebea when you're going to shoots. And I feel like right now, 27-year-old Ayan, it feels like now you understand that whatever is going on between two grown-ups, or even any other person in general, has nothing to do with you.
Because it's hard when you're in that space, because you start looking within to see if you are the problem. Because I feel also as humans, we're kind of self-centered, so you're like, oh, what did I do, what did I say, did I do this, did I do this, did I do this? And then you start putting all these burdens upon yourself, and it has nothing to do with you. These are two people going through something that, yes, is difficult, but it has nothing to do with you. So just be comfortable in yourself. And even right now, I'm trying to implement it some more, because sometimes, like, somebody doesn't respond to my text for a while, and I'm like, what did I do to this person? Did I say this? Did I say this? Did I say this? Or are they annoyed at me? Am I annoying? And maybe they just had a bad week at work. Maybe they're going through a breakup or something. It's good to just step out and say, by the way, this has nothing to do with you.
That's true. I think I'm also trying to implement that into my own personal life. And in your letter, you mentioned a bit after your 16th birthday, right? That's when you got violated. I don't know, what are you comfortable sharing with us about this?
I'll share bare bone facts, right? So I was basically a seed when I was young, and it was I will say it was not the way it's depicted in media, because in media you're being held down, you're kicking, screaming no, and that's how we see it. That's how it's talked about. And most times for me, it wasn't like that. It was subtle, It took a long time. There was a lot of grooming involved, things like that. It wasn't out of the blue. And I think because of that, it didn't click immediately.
Yeah.
Like trauma. Because especially when I was younger, I used to repress. Like if something happens in my life that I don't like, I just repress it. To the point I even forget. Like I'd have gaps in my memory because that was how I would deal with it. Yeah, so it happened for a while, and it was just to this day I've never been able to process the feelings properly, where it hurt. Obviously it hurt me as a person, and but what I think was more than the physical was the mental damage it did without even me realizing it. That was what I had to deal with to now.
Yeah.
It's not knowing, it's realizing there are certain ways you behave because of this, and how do I now deal with it. And one thing that it manifested in me that I didn't know until later on is that it's what made me extremely anxious. It's very, because usually when such things happen to you, most people link it makes you, depressed. You have PTSD. Those are the things that, but part of the PTSD was the anxiety. I had extreme social anxiety, especially around my first and second year of uni, where I couldn't even leave the house because I didn't want to be around people. But I then realized why I was so afraid of crowds and people was I had this deep rooted shame, like really inside. Yeah, so there's this book called The Scarlet Letter, where there's the main character has been written for an A, and that shows that they have sinned or have committed a crime or something. I felt as if I had an A, like on me. So I didn't know that at the time, but I felt that shame from that time. So I was just like, they're saying me, they know that they're this, and I don't want to be seen. I don't want people to see how, Yeah.
Yeah, oh my God. I'm so sorry that happened to you. And it's even worse because now this is something wrong that was done to you.
Yeah.
But you're the one walking around feeling guilty.
Guilty, exactly.
Yeah.
It's something that's not really talked about because it's what most people think is the normal reaction is anger and of course the sadness of it, but there is, especially I think it's also perpetrated in media, because if you hear people when something like if somebody is SA, the first thing guys start asking is what was she wearing?
Yeah.
Why was she talking to that guy? Why was she out drinking without knowing these things? Even in society, the one who's been affected is the one who is first interrogated.
Yeah.
So that I think now that carries, because you start asking yourself, why did I put myself in that situation? Why didn't I remove myself sooner? Why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that?
Yeah.
And one, I was way younger, and two, it's you are the one wronged. It's not your fault. If you were found where you were found, it's not. If somebody comes and sits there and hurts you, it's not your fault that you sat here.
Yeah, and truly it's a child being taken advantage of at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And even that thing for what was she wearing? I mean, 4-year-olds these days are victims, so you can't bring that narrative
Exactly.
to a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
What was a 4-year-old where it really does not apply.
Yeah.
Okay, then, so all this, or rather, that whole experience combined with then the experience you also had with your dad then led to this bad relationship that you had with men later on in life. What sort of decisions would you make, and at what point did you catch yourself before it went from bad to worst?
I hate saying this. I had classic daddy issues. Very, very textbook daddy issues. Those words for one, I would get oddly attached. Like, can I cuss?
We were allowed to express ourselves.
Like, you know those ones for, you know, the nigga ain't shit, and there you are, like insisting on something because within you, you just so desperately want to be loved, and it's you. So you don't see your value. So of course you end up with people who, as in,
Ain't shit.
ain't shit, yeah, basically. And then also, I don't know if this affected. I tended to go for older because even with what happened to me, the person was significantly older. You'd think
Yeah.
that I would go in the opposite direction, which is what like most people think happens. It's like, oh, this happened to you, so now you want the complete opposite, which happens to most people. But then now for me, it went like it's so messed up to think about because it's like it was home, it was familiar, you know, that huge power imbalance that you get if you date somebody who is, you know, 10, 15, 20 years older than you. That was home to me.
Yeah.
So I ended up dating people in that range, and obviously it's not necessarily bad, but you'd get that of course with the power imbalance and the age difference, it's not most times healthy.
Yeah. Yeah. And at what point did you catch yourself?
Oh, what point did I catch myself? So last year was wild. I'm gonna just leave it at that. It was, you know, those times you behave like really badly, like you can tell you
Out of character
behavior that is detrimental to you. I got myself in situations I should not have been in, and it's that. So at that time, it was people had like normal New Year's resolutions of me. I'm going to lose weight, and I was like, I'm going to be alone.
Yeah.
Because I've never really traditionally dated. Like to say, that's why I always tell people I'm single. Like I've never had a boyfriend. Like, you know, those ones to say, oh, we've been together for like 3 months. Nah, I've never done that. And that was part of the problem. I leave before you leave. Because I've been left. I'm not being left again. So I leave before you leave. I don't like having like too close of an attachment. And then when I am in a situation where I like the person, I like them too much. Like, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So you need to really get yourself. So I realized that last year I was just crazy. It was wild. So this year, before things, because I could see if I continue on this trajectory, it's not gonna be pretty at the end of it. You know, that's when you hear, you know, let's just be honest, that's when your STDs start coming forth, unwanted pregnancies, and you know, I was just like,
it's not it.
That's not my portion.
Yeah.
So let me take a step back and just deal with it instead of running away. Deal with those issues. Yeah.
And what lessons have you learned through these experiences, and how differently do you now approach relationships?
I think now I take an individual as they are. There was a certain, I wouldn't say, like I had a recognition that, you know, niggas ain't shit, but I created a fictitious feeling around a person. Like I projected my feelings upon them. So I never took people as they are. I didn't take people at face value. You know, like if somebody shows you who they are, accept it. I would be delusional. Like it's those ones for he's not calling me because you know, he's busy
Thinking about me.
Yeah, you know, he's too overwhelmed. He's too overwhelmed by all these feelings. No, just the projecting on somebody. If you see a human being, take them as they are. If they tell you who they are, accept that as canon, and don't start having those feelings. And then also, right now, I don't know if you noticed, when I ended my letter, I said the love of your life.
Yeah.
I'm now learning to be the love of my life. and how I treat myself should be the standard. If I love myself now.
Yeah.
Like I'm learning to have that of feeling of you need to be treated well. Like even pursuing things I care about is part of loving yourself.
Yeah.
Not procrastinating your dreams and your ambitions. And learning to love me as also I am has helped me, come from a place of not, I wouldn't call it desperation, but this place of please like me. Okay,
Yeah.
please like me. Like it's, if you don't like me, that's a you problem. Yeah.
And we see it. We see it in your self-love era with your flowers blooming.
Exactly.
We love to see it.
Yeah. Why? Because I actually asked myself, why am I waiting for somebody to buy me flowers? If I like flowers, I go buy flowers. If I like even with my friends, I'm like, if I go to somebody's house and I'm passing by to buy flowers, I'll buy you flowers.
Yeah.
Like it's stop having these arbitrary rules of how relations should go. Love for yourself, for your friends should also be pure and just being, authentic.
Yeah. And you also talk a lot about the crippling anxiety and the deep-rooted depression. And like you said, you didn't really understand what was happening. At the time, you didn't really understand how much all these things that were happening were affecting you. Like it just kept on piling and piling and piling. And we went to engineering school, then you transferred, you went to med school. And then that's when everything comes crashing down. And for me, I wonder, at that point, I feel like you had done well in school. You had gone to engineering. Engineering, not at it was a bad course. And then now you've even transferred to, now your dream course, in med school. So if I'm to think about it, I'm like, that's the period you should have been your happiest.
Exactly.
Like everything is now working out according to, I guess, what you had planned. But this is the point where everything came crashing down. So what was the breaking point? What triggered everything?
I'd say when I was in high school, right? When all these things were happening, I was being busy. I was like, okay, whatever is going on at home, whatever is going on, I need to pass. I need to go to here, which is very sad. University of Nairobi is the goal.
It's a world-class university, please.
And I'm going to enter as a regular student. Government will pick me as I am. So I decided I'm going to put my head down and I'm going to work. So I didn't think about all those things happening to me during that time because I need to get into this school. And then I did. And I think what made me just crack is eventually I realized that I was chasing this thinking it's my happiness. And then I got it. I wasn't happy. So it's those things where you're like, so what was all this for? Like I felt like it's just, I treated it as a destination and not part of my life. So here I am. And I didn't solve any of the problems I had. But are they going to magically disappear because I'm in my dream course? That's what I thought. That didn't happen. And I think realizing that and now not having the constant, that singular goal. Because now in uni, this, it's semester per semester. You take it as it comes. And it doesn't have such a grandiose goal, especially like in medicine. Okay, it was really hard to pass medicine, but for us there was no distinction and a second apart. It's you pass or you fail. So it's just get above 50, you were a doctor. So I think not having that very singular goal, because I'm in med school, so what's the singular goal? Become a doctor? Like I didn't have that motivation anymore that helped me postpone my problems. So I think that's what caught up with me. And
as I read your letter, and you describe, the crippling anxiety, the deep depression. What I imagine it as is being in a building. A building is coming down on you, like building is crashing, but not like instant, like in slow motion.
It's suffocation.
Yeah,
It's like,
so you're trying to find your way out, but slowly, it's like, how in nightmares, you're trying to run, but your legs are not moving and everything is happening really, really slowly. But I want to understand now in your own words, what it felt like, that sort of anxiety that is making you stay in the house, not leaving bed, just locking yourself up. How was that for you?
It feels like I feel like anxiety and depression are such ridiculous things to have together because they're opposites. Your body reacts in an opposite way. When I'm in a state of anxiety, it's the normal thing. Like, it happened, especially when I was around people, I would get it's like the world becomes like a cocoon. Like, there's a helmet on me, and this helmet is like, the air is this thin. It's like I'm on top of Mount Everest. There's not enough air. I'm not able to breathe. My heart is really pumping. It's really like I'm just feeling I want to leave my body, I want to leave it there. It's boring me. I want to go. I want to leave my body. This whole situation, I want to go. And there's nowhere you can go. While as depression is this very slow, very languid, it's like slowly drowning. Like, like when you drown, let's say if you drown when you can't move your limbs. So you just
like quicksand.
Yeah, you're just in this, it's like molasses. You don't have the energy for this. You don't have the energy for that. You don't want to deal with anything. You don't want anything to deal with you. You don't want to have thoughts. You want to be just still. You want to be still. And then what happens is they kind of push each other. I don't know how to explain this. Like, I would be anxious about going to class, so I don't go to class. Then I'd be depressed because I didn't go to class.
Yeah.
So it was like a vicious cycle, and and then sometimes because I'm anxious, I'd feel depressed. Why am I anxious? So that's how I would describe it for me. And like for my anxiety, it reached the point I would get panic attacks. If I'm like in a place and I've not like moderated myself, like my heart rate would increase, I'd start sweating, I'll just run out and vomit. That's how now I feel like the vomit was the release. Like my body is just like,
yeah. And there's also mentions of the multiple hospital visits and just wanting to end it and make it stop. What are you also comfortable sharing with us about that period?
So it began now I'm in school, right? And then
this is in uni.
This is actually when I was still in engineering. And I'm having these feelings of this depression and anxiety, and I don't know how to deal with them. So I started getting suicidal ideations. This led me to now get into a psychiatric hospital at that time. And so I went there. It helped and didn't. It helped in the fact that I stood back from my life and saw what was going on. It didn't because I think I was just with the wrong doctor. At that time. His approach was not. It was not for me. So after that, I got out, and it was kind of those things we're trying to find a now solution to these problems. So I wrote in a transfer request to go to medicine. That was my solution. So the first year went okay, but I still had my anxiety. So there's a week I don't go to school. Right? I experienced a really bad panic attack, and then I'm like, screw this. I'm not I'm not going.
Yeah.
So what that then that like extreme anxiety would lead to would be it affected my endocrine system. So I ended up having a lot of issues with sugar. So when I would enter those continuous states of, I get really anxious, and then now it's like my body from the stress became insulin resistant during those times. So then I would get into a diabetic state known as ketoacidosis, which means that your body is now burning. It doesn't know how to use the sugar, so it's now burning your fat. So your blood is basically too acidic because of those. So that would now land me in hospital because
that's literally your anxiety and depression made you sick.
It made me physically ill.
Yeah.
Like it actually pushed my body to its limit. It didn't know how to deal with it, so it took it out on itself. So now that's what kept landing me in hospital, because I go in and then there was also this feeling of denial. Of I'm not, you don't want to see yourself as quote unquote broken. You don't want to see yourself as something that needs to be fixed. So, you go in, and then every time when you're about to be, what's it called? You're admitted and then you are discharged, yeah. Every time you're about to discharge, you have this whole new lease on life, You've not worked on anything.
Yeah.
You're just like,
I'm better, let's go do this.
Now. You've been at the HDU, you've been there. And I think, like, especially when I used to go in, the HDU is extremely depressing. It's not a normal ward. It's things are bad ward. It's the kind of ward where you can hear someone die next to you. Like, people are critical. So when you are that close to death, so I remember somebody even like passed on, right? Like I was here, his bed was right there. I had him going into code blue. And at that time I even know the terms. So I know exactly what they're doing. So I was just like, when you're so close to death like that, when you're about to leave, you're like, I made it out. Life is good. What were you complaining about? So I'll just go back in without changing anything. So give it a month, 2, 3, sometimes 6 months. The cycle repeats.
Yeah.
So what happened is I had to break it. And for me, that break was leaving medicine. I had to break that cycle, because part of what made me keep having this is I need to be good, because I need to go back to school.
Yeah.
I need to pass. I need to go. I can't be here. So because of that, I didn't give myself time to heal. Because when you go into the hospital, they treat the physical. They'll give you the medication, they'll bring it down your sugars, they'll, give you like slight counseling. This is how you should, live your life. And then, but I'm not really, because psychological treatment takes a long time. But I wasn't giving myself that space. And one doctor came to me. He wasn't even a therapist. He was just one of the GPs just doing his rounds. And he was like, I understand, because I'm also a doctor, but is it a must?
Yeah.
Like, is it a must? Like, I can see you're struggling. Like, is it a must? It happens now. And I think he was the first person to make me think, like,
Yes, you must.
So at that time, it was just going to be a deferral to just give myself a year to calm down. But I think now when I came out here, and I was like, but we must.
Like, life is sweet, oh.
Hey, sweet, oh. Hey, sweet, oh. I'm not sleeping at 4 reading that. Hey, sweet, oh. Hey.
God, the meme, right? Of that guy eating the mango, like, life is sweet, oh.
It's sweet, oh. Hey. Yeah.
But I guess you really did not stay down, because even after dealing with all of that, you were like, okay, let's look for something that's not as stressful, that's not making me sick.
Yeah.
Let's look for a plan B, C, D, E until now, you know, you're a cameraman, as Shosho calls it. So how was the journey, you know, from after now quitting medicine to now where you are right now?
It was quite a meandering one. When I left, the goal was to be busy but not too busy. You know, at the same time, if I'm too like free, basically, it would also be a problem. So I'd do odd jobs. At the time, I would like write. Remember those like Mpasho and Gafla like articles? So they would get like writers to just like write for them things for SEO, just for them. So like if Vera Sidika has like some sort of drama, you're there writing an article with all the SEO
But you
terms.
are always good at those writing things, even like compositions and intros.
So I started doing that. I started making like money on the side there. I did some admin work here and there as a research assistant and all those things. Just, you know, also through my mom who helped me, like just should give me to her friend and be like, just give her something, you know.
Yeah, to keep you
I just
busy.
don't want her to be by herself. It's not really about the money, right? Just something to keep her occupied. So that's how I just moved from odd job to odd job. Then I always, it was so weird. The last season of Game of Thrones was terrible. I hated it with burning passion, and I needed people to know. I needed them to know that I hated it. So at the time, my sister had just left high school, so she was in some multimedia course. And so I was like, I see this thing you call Adobe Premiere. Like, I have thoughts, but I want them to be cutely arranged. So I filmed myself, I remember, with my Samsung. Quality was but I filmed myself, I ranted, I went to my sister's laptop and I was like, show me how to do graphics, show me how to do this and that, how do I make this text move from here to here? And that's how I started video editing. So I did that, and then I would just go on and on and on. I'd do like Instagram stories, as you remember this. Like we'd go out and do like a whole, it was like mini vlogs. Basically watch like mini vlogs out reels right now. And that was my outlet now, but I didn't realize that it was, you know, it could be something that could be monetized. I was having fun.
Yeah.
And then somebody saw my work, the first person who saw my work, and was like, oh, I see you understand graphics. I have this video. Could you put for me these graphics so that I can finish it up and send it to a client? So this guy used to just send me stuff to do for him, pay me what, like $1,000, $2,000, like that. I don't have a job. So $1,000, $2,000, hey.
You're taking it.
I'm taking it. And so, yeah, that's now how that was the first person who ever, and then it was you. I remember you asked me, because you needed a video editor for your YouTube, and you were just like, oh, would you edit for me? And I was just like, wait, what? You're asking me to edit for you? Like, it sounded so strange to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Yeah.
And I have never been able to go back to editing. There is, I think, in between, like the periods we worked together, there's one video I edited for myself.
Yeah.
And even my mom was like, I see your camera, me edit here. And I was like, my Lord. We are honest now.
Yeah, now we are saying everything.
And I don't know if the listeners noticed, but you began your letter with, you know, Dear Caroline, and it ended with the love of my life, Ayan.
Yeah.
And so I'm not sure if it's common knowledge, but like you changed your name from Caroline to Ayan when you converted to Islam.
Yes.
Was the change from Caroline to Ayan part of the healing journey?
I wouldn't say precisely. It was a healing journey of its own. I grew up Catholic, so, you know, Catholic school girl. And you know, it's those things, you know, religion you reach an age where religion becomes personal, and we're not gelling, you know.
Yeah.
There was some friction there. So at the time, a lot of my friends were Muslim, so I just observed. Then one time I was like, let me participate in Ramadan with you as you would. So I was listening to teachings. Of course, I was not entering the mosque at this time because scandal. But I was listening to teachings, seeing how they practice, listening to all that. And it resonated with me, those parts of the teachings. So after going through it a couple of more times, I was like, I'm closer to this than I am to the religion that is mine, you know. So I reverted to Islam. And that for me, at the time, it was so, like, remember the first question everyone asked me is it a boy?
What?
Like, you know, it's so...
I never thought of that.
I swear, especially the older generation, all of them were like, is it a boy? Don't tell me it's a boy. I don't think
Then you found like a Muhammad somewhere who has confused you, and you were like,
Ahmed has told me all I needed to hear. But I was like, no. It was kind of, at least I would say for my family, okay, we don't talk about it openly. Okay, me and my mom, we had that conversation, and she was like, you know what, me, at least you have faith. For her, she's like, you know what, at least there's faith. We leave it at that.
Yeah.
But with my extended family, it's kind of like hush, because especially like my grandma and her sisters are very religious. So it's those ones for like, they like kind of throw like, oh, why aren't you going to church with us? Or, you know, like sometimes we have functions and the first part of the function is mass. So I come late. So because I don't want to be there, then I disappear. So just to remove all that friction, it's those ones you come just when it ends.
Yeah.
So now like you always hear that comment of, hey, you know, children of these days can't even sit for mass. They can't even sit for mass. And everyone is like, but we all know.
Yeah.
She's not. So yeah, it's touchy, but everyone has just decided
Leave it alone.
Yeah.
I mean, do you ever worry that maybe you'd relapse and go back to, you know, what younger Caroline was really going through? And what steps are you taking? What are you doing right now to just really take care of your mental?
Of course, there's that problem of relapse. But what I told myself is, instead of having this mentality of I'm healed, is I'm healing. Because even in my letter, healing is a journey. It's a process. And it's those ones you have to identify that sometimes you'll have bad days. That day is even now. Like it's a random Tuesday. And I'm like, I can't leave the house. Like, don't even ask me to go to the shop to buy milk. No.
Yeah.
I will pay a boda to bring 1 packet of milk here, but I'm not leaving the house. It's just identifying those times and now being open about it. Because like there are times I'll just come and tell mom, yo, today I'm having really depressive feelings. Like they're really intrusive and they're making me feel, you know, icky inside. Just having that, just saying that is leagues and bounds before who I was, because before I never even used to say. So the fact that I can even acknowledge, okay, I'm feeling bad right now, is really, really helpful. Yeah.
All in all, I'm glad that you found your way here, and I'm personally, like, again, really proud of you. And I mean, now you get to work with amazing people like me. And now I have to ask, what are some of the achievements or like proud moments in your career so far?
I don't want to sound vague, but I can tell now I'm getting recognition in my industry in particular. Like I'd go to an event and somebody, oh, you're Ayan.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. It's not okay. I don't want to be famous. I really not like that. But it's nice being recognized in a place where, you know, you're contributing work to. It's nice, you know, seeing people who you've admired being like, your work is good. Because I've gotten to work with people I used to just stalk on Instagram back in a teen, say, Lyra, I was just there like, man, one day.
Yeah.
And to have them tell me, oh, I loved your work, it was good, was just like, I'd also say, working with interesting, people such as yourself, I had to say that, or I'd be in trouble. It's nice being at a point in my career where most of the people I work with also value what I do. It's, there are characters. There are characters out there who are like, just to take photos, just to hold the camera, like they feel as if they're giving you free money, It's so rewarding when you work with people who appreciate what you do and are just, they appreciate what you do, they're happy to work with you. And now I can say, if I can tell a client is going to be, I can just be like, I'm currently not available or able to take new clients. It's such a flex, trust me, especially like when it is such a flex to be able to say no to certain things and be comfortable knowing it's fine. I will still eat.
But I mean, let me also give you your flowers, because truly in the videography field, being cameraman, as Shosho will call it, you are really pushing, like, for women. You're out there and you're doing the damn thing. You're like effectively competing and even passing a lot of these people who you found out there. So it's really, really dope. Before we start getting to the end, I have to ask, you see a lot of people who go through traumatic experiences or hard experiences in life. You find them saying that, it's okay because it made them who they are. Now, it leads me to wonder, is it the same for you? Where do you sometimes wish that your journey was different, maybe a little softer? Or do you feel like it's okay because it led to who you are right now?
It's a hard question, because there was this TikTok I saw once where the chick was like, the people will say like, oh, what doesn't break you or kill you makes you stronger. It's like, I don't want to be stronger, I want to be mentally stable. It's hard because I would never wish anything that happened to me to happen to anyone. It would be inhumane. But at the same time, I don't want to discount my experiences, because to be 100, I would not be where I am today if it wasn't for the things that happened in my life. It took me to another trajectory. I don't know who that other person would be. And I think the trap we enter a lot is entering what ifs in our life. It's also how we start moving backwards. I don't know who that person would be. There's a part of me who'd be like, should have been so, should have been right now, should be a doctor somewhere, little resident here being picked on, like should be doing the thing what she thought would be it. But do I know that? It's a dangerous game to play. All I would say is I'm learning to just live where I am, experience what I am experiencing, and just going with that.
I have to say, this has definitely been one of my favorite episodes. I feel like this season, after every episode, I'm just like, oh my god. I feel like it's been full of gems.
Oh, I should add something, because it's been a theme of this season. You should try therapy.
Well, you guys promised, plus Lydia's, like the three of you guys, I've not forgotten. My birthday present was supposed to be the first for free therapy session. I will look for you guys next week to be like, hey, my therapy session. But yeah, truly, I've enjoyed it. And I think my biggest takeaway is like, one, it's truly, when you say it's truly never usually about you. Sometimes it's, other people who are going through other things. Because I'm not going to lie, during the first period, because like in engineering school, man, we just used to be me, you, and then finally we made friends with Zai.
Yeah.
So like when you left, I
Yeah.
was like, oh my God, she's leaving me here. And this is the period before you even transferred. I
Yeah.
think that's the first time when you started getting sick.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, she's always leaving me in school by myself. And I said how when I read the letter, I felt guilty, because you can imagine I took that whole situation and made it about myself.
Yeah.
Like, how selfish was that? So, I mean, truly, it's made me understand that even if a situation might make you feel bad, think about, the other person and the bigger picture that might be, way beyond you truly. And we usually don't do this, but if you could leave a message to maybe someone who is in the same situation as young Caroline was, a girl, a boy, somewhere who is struggling, what will you tell them right now to give them hope?
Be honest about it. You'd be surprised how many people will care and believe you. You'd be really surprised. I think there's this internal fight we always have of, will they believe, will they care? And it's important to just know that they will believe you and they will care. Just talk. And you would be surprised about how even that, I'll never get justice for what happened to me. I'll never, be able to, fully, the normal things we say justice is. But I'm okay, because I spoke my truth eventually. And receiving that full, it was like what shocked me was just how full the acceptance was and how quick it was. Like, there was no, especially if somebody loves you, there was no, are you sure?
Yeah.
There was no, did you like misinterpret it or something? It was just, I'm sorry this happened to you.
Yeah.
And let's work through it. If somebody truly cares about you, they will help you. And if you feel as if there is not that person in your life, because that's also the truth. I was very lucky that I had family that was extremely supportive. If you don't have that, that's why therapists, counselors are there. A lot of them have seen all these things happen and are very willing and able to listen to you as you, how you feel. Don't start saying how you think it went, or maybe I know. What did you feel? How did it happen for you? Forget what happened around, what was the situation for that moment.
Yeah.
It's very important and would really help.
Okay. Well, Caroline, you know the drill. You wrote a letter to your younger self.
So,
And now you're going to leave a letter for 37-year-old Caroline. Whenever you're ready, that's your camera.
okay. I always see girls like here. It's Hey, 37-year-old Ayan. I know we're still healing. This thing is gonna take some time, but you are definitely ahead. You now know your triggers, your attachment styles, and are able to, just navigate life easier. We've definitely made that dope-ass documentary. We have made it. I know we have made it. You are still in this industry, surprisingly. I believe in 10 years, we'll still be here making videos, and telling African stories. You are now helping shape the narrative of your country, of your continent, in a beautiful and authentic side. Yeah, no, you are helping say our stories. It's not the white man anymore. We got some moolah, we got some money. I know people say that doesn't bring happiness, but right now we are at least comfortable. We got that Range Rover and the parking lot. These are very ambitious dreams for 10 years, but I must have them. And yeah, you've traveled, you've seen the world. You've finally been to South Africa. You cannot keep putting this at the beginning every year. Now you have gone, you have seen Cape Town, you have seen Josie, and you have traveled far and wide. You've been to Edinburgh. I know you want to see Scotland, and you have experienced cultures far and wide. And you're happy. You have your group of friends, and you are now comfortable in your skin. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. Thank you so much for coming on to A Letter to My Younger Self.
Thank you for having me. Being here is very different from being behind the camera.
Yeah, and thank you so much for sharing your story so openly, so authentically. I know that your story, is common, but it's not usually talked about. Yeah. So I really do hope that it helps someone out there. Mm-hmm. If you guys know anyone who can benefit from the episode, you can feel free to share the episode with them. And also in the description bar, we'll leave some resources that can be able to help you in case you are struggling with your journey. So thank you once again, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.